I am live. You go to analytics load, make sure everything's working. And it's now there. All right. Scroll up. Yeah, fuck you, Me6. Get out of here if you're fucking AI. Aw. 11-year-old puppy. Huh. Oof. Huh. Boy. Oh. Oh, that's fucked. Alright, we are now up to 1 concurrent viewer. I'm still gonna give a few minutes for people to get in. My arms are tired. As they usually are. You are that viewer. Oh my gosh. You're gonna get spoiled on the video game. Not that any of these characters appear in fucking Homestuck, but regardless. What do you got today? What's the volume gonna be on? Volume 13 of Fate, Fortune, and Fashion. Oh, tomorrow's gonna be Demon Zuri's favorite volume of cleanliness and clownliness. I think it's 14. 14 or 16. I forgot. I feel bad about that. I think I'm all right. Final guess. It's gonna be 14. Oh, I think tomorrow's WoW stream might be a wizardry stream. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Also, I'm really proud I told that one guy early in the morning to go fuck himself. I'm just gonna be honest, lads. The funny thing is, there is no. Actually, I'm gonna check that. I think that stream had no dislikes, so despite me telling that person to fuck off and he has a loser mentality, there was no dislikes on the stream, just likes. I just got a comment from an hour ago that says "Go away." Friends are like numbers. Go away. It wasn't the same person from this morning. All right, go to that. See. All right, I think we're good to start. Volume 13, A Fate, Fortune, and Fashion. Blah, 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 friendship, blah. I'm glad we got to the points. Boldir Lamati. Boldir. You just aren't feeling today. You're getting more and more of these gray nights recently. Nights for the call of the streets, that infinite ramble for companionship, just sounds exhausting and meaningless. You had days like this back on Earth too, when getting out of bed just didn't seem worth it. The sun is just beginning to slip under the horizon, and usually this would be the sign to rise and shine, or rise and dark. All you managed to do so far this evening is make yourself some coffee. You recently mentioned to Tagora that you drink instant, and he was so disgusted that he gave you a coffee machine. He claimed it was an old one he didn't use anymore, but it still had the price tag. Aw, that's nice of him. On the table sits a palm husk Connie had taken off a dead kid, especially for you, and cradled in your hand in a mug Skyla scent. And cradled in your hand is a mug Skyla scent. Okay. It looks like she's painting it herself. There's a white blob on one side that you think is supposed to be Lady. You're even wearing the hoodie Malik gave you to cut the evening chill. Give me a moment. Try throwing the mouse for the cat, but I whiffed. I whiffed that throw so hard. Ah, she's still going after it. Here you all are, all wrapped up. Why is lost? Oh, thank you for reminding me. Sometimes you forget that. So I forget what specifically triggered that coming up on stream earlier this morning, but I clearly forgot that it was there. It just blends in. You're all wrapped up in the warm embrace of your friend's goodwill, safe and sound, but deep inside you festers something. A gnawing existential dissatisfaction, that classic angst the philosophers wrote about. Your palm chimes and you pick it up lazily. What? Another random trying to slide into your DMs? Sorry, folks, you don't have time for that anymore. You're a friendship connoisseur, a sommelier of the rarest of amicable vintages. You unlock the screen to find a message. I'm not certain that this line is secure. Actually, I'm positive that it isn't, but I'm risking contact because it is imperative that we speak. I'm sending you rendezvous coordinates. If you wouldn't mind coming any time after the sun has set, PS, PSST. I realize that this is an unorthodox, but please believe me when I tell you this is not a trick or a trap. I have important information regarding your place on Alternia. You attempt to reply to the message, but there isn't a cursor or anywhere to input text. In fact, there doesn't even appear to be a messenger app open on your phone. It's just a random text box floating in the void. You rarely have a chance to read it all the way through before it vanishes, and Google Maps opens with an address already programmed in. Close enough to walk to, which is great, because using your stolen scuttle buggy still makes you a little nervous. You swallow the rest of your coffee and grab your shoes. Or back at this place. Your GPS leads you to a shop you recognize. It's a cafe from your weird sort of date with Lyurnia. It's not too crowded at this time of day. The usual studying crowd doesn't appear to be here. A couple of trolls are sitting around sharing pots of tea. Fool, fucking idiot. I explicitly stated I want Essence of Dayglow, not whatever this garbage is. Oh, you know this person. It really has been a minute, hasn't it? Ardita stands in front of the counter, shouting at the cash register. Whatever automated system runs this shop has apparently gotten her order wrong. What are you looking at, This is actually none of your... Oh. It's you. Ardita swiftly covers up her surprise, examining a sharp perfectly shaped nail. You look different. Better? Let's not exaggerate. Well, simply meant you looked less like toxic waste and more like run-of-the-grain grinder garbage. You tell Arta that's good to see her too. Man, this really takes you back. You've been so simple back then, so uninvolved. You were laser focused on a single desire. Friendship. Now, well, you still like friends, you really do, but you also have like a car and a sweatshirt with somebody's sign on it. You've moved up in the world. Fascinating. Oh, by the way, is she the one who summoned you here? Summoned? You? You must be joking. I haven't spared a single solitary thought for you since you dragged your wretched carcass out of my hive. Absolutely. You push your hand into the pockets of your hoodie. Something crinkles between your fingers and you pull out a folded piece of notebook paper. Okay, this definitely hadn't been there when you left your hive. You passed a couple of people in the street, but you definitely don't remember any of them getting close enough to slip something in your pocket. Huh. It only says 2 words. Out back. Oh man, should you go? Hello, Maxwell, hello. Backyards are as bad as basements. No way. Oh, go. Let's be real. If you were ever going to refuse this suspicious invitation, you would have done it by now. You would have drawn the line at vehicle theft or murder church or anime club. You can't resist the social engagement. You're a tragic flaw. Okay, I guess. Enjoy yourself. You got back through a beaded curtain, half expecting an alarm to ring. How do they keep people from just robbing stores here? Are there like lasers and shit? You merge into a tidy little back garden. None of the plants here are ones you recognize from Earth, but it's still nice. You cross a bridge over a slow flowing stream and find yourself looking down at a patch that blooms into a tight, dizzying spiral. Maybe you're supposed to walk across it and ponder your place in the universe. Your contemplation would be inevitably cut off before it hits climax, because someone is sitting at the center of the spiral. She has a small, compact shape of her hair cut short and choppy around her chin, wearing a shapeless white dress, really more of a robe. I've been waiting for you. Thanks for coming. She speaks in a stage whisper, low and full of air, but so loud enough to be heard across the path. You pick your way carefully across the spiral, making sure not to mess any of it up. Treading only inside the lines, the girl gives you a small, secretive smile. My name's Will, dear. You ask her if this is her garden. Does she live here? It's nice, but it's not exactly out of the element. Actually, it looks like there's some storm clouds rolling in. You're probably going to get rain soon. Oh yeah, my recruiter raccoon is over under that tree. She smiles again, and you can't tell if she's messing around. In fact, she's entirely unreadable. Like her face is a totally reflective surface. All you're seeing is a cloudy sky in the garden. You can't tell if she feels about you at all. Would you like to sit down? Inside the circle, or... She looks around like she is only realizing she is at the center of a complicated geometric pattern. It doesn't matter. I only wanted to see if you would follow the path or trample through it. But you didn't either. You forged your own path while taking care to preserve that which has come before. You ask her what that means. Maybe nothing. I'm not sure. The wind tosses her hair and the clouds chase each other across the sky. If the rain comes in, it will come soon. Boulder continues to look at you as you shift awkwardly and shiver, pushing your hand into your hoodie. This is different than any other friend meetup you've had, even with the others who purposely sought you out. There is a serenity to Boulder that all the rest lack. Or maybe that's just the zen-ass fuck garden getting to you. Try to remember what Boulder said to you in the message that you somehow managed to make appear on your phone and then immediately self-immolates. That she has some information for you about your place in Alternia or some shit like that. Did I say that? I guess I did. I suppose I wanted a chance to talk to you a bit before the end. I was starting to feel a little jealous, maybe? Right. You guess everybody has been going on about the funny, dumb alien robot who's been prowling the countryside. No, that's not it. Though I'm sure you're very funny. I just wanted a chance to talk to you. Someone who is so adrift in the swirl of fate and the whims of the paradox. Paradox. You don't know anything about paradoxes. Well, Know anything about paradoxes? Well, you know what they are, you just don't see why they're relevant. They aren't. Paradoxes aren't relevant by their very nature. It's the essence of that nature that makes them so integral to the story. You shake your head. You're not built for this cosmic stuff. You're just an orphan from Earth with quick fingers, spaceships, and apparently vehicles. Boulder gives you another sly smile. Oh, quick fingers? You blush. You hadn't meant that as a dirty joke or anything. Also, your fingers are nowhere near as quick as hers. She somehow got a piece of paper in your pocket while she was staying in a cafe and she was back here. That's like reverse pickpocketing through astral projection. Boulder laughs. She stands up and moves across the garden path, following the spiral so swiftly and efficiently that she might as well be floating. She drifts over to one of the trees, pulling a coat down from where it's slung over a branch. I like this outfit. I do like it. It's cute. Covers her from chin to ankles, coming together to form an olive green symbol on her chest that looks like a question mark without the dot. A broad-brimmed hat finishes out the ensemble. Oh, I can't teach you astral projection, but pickpocketing is actually quite simple. Would you like to learn? Ideally, we need a third person to act as a mark, but I think we can make it work. More crime, huh? Sure. This whole mess started with a theft of a spaceship, and if Boulder's right about all that fate horseshit, that was supposed to happen, so maybe you'll lean into it? Perfect. The first and most important aspect of the art of pickpocketing is staying unobtrusive. Think about mentioning that walking around in a great big coat and floppy hat is not the most unobtrusive thing you've ever seen, but you aren't the expert here. Also, you're an alien, so you don't really have room to talk. Maybe you should just get a big coat like that yourself. You just love ripping looks off of all your friends. Boulder takes you through the basics of criminal sleight of hand, and on the whole, you aren't too bad. In fact, you think you might have a future in it if it weren't already on the career path of professional friendshipper. You don't know what this has to do with her learning about you or teaching you your place in Alternia, but it's fun and Boulder is a good teacher. There's one thing this journey has taught you. It's that when something isn't actively painful or destructive, just write it out. You don't think you'll be going around pickpocketing many trolls? Enough of them already want to kill you? But it's good to have this skill on reserve if you ever need fast cash or don't feel like hitting up any of your rich friends. I wonder if Boulder uses it for anything besides passing notes. My sources tell me you've been on Alternia for almost 3 pedigrees now. You have no idea how long a pedigree is, but what the hell, sure. Impressive. No wonder. She trails out thoughtfully and shakes her head. You wish you would say something with some substance to it instead of some vague nonsense. But at least she isn't threatening you with violence or anything to stick wires into you, so you're counting this interaction successful so far. Also, you feel weirdly chilled out with Boulder. Sure, you want to be friends, but there's none of that stomach-churning, spine-bending desperation to make sure she likes you, at whatever the cost. You feel more awake than you have been in weeks. Man, you've got to learn to pickpocket in a garden behind a cafe more often if this is what it does to your stress levels. Want something to eat? Or maybe some coffee? 'Cause that's what they serve here. Sure, you could use another caffeinated beverage on top of the other caffeinated beverages you had earlier. Why not? You'll sleep when you're dead. If only. You follow her out of the garden back into the cafe. Who is this now? Yet another friend? Oh, Arnita, you're still here. Of course I am, fool. You were back there for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Wow. It felt like way longer than that. Guess you underestimated the power of a good training montage. You introduce Arnita to Boulder with that cheerful earnestness of someone who has forgotten the systemic classism of the planet on which they currently reside. Arnita stops you with an aristocratic sneer. Stop. Stop. Or I have to stop you myself. I have absolutely no desire to mix with those so low on the social ladder. Why did I pause here? Yeah. What in the world could she have to offer me? You shrug. You're not sure. Maybe friendship? She says while having lunch with an alien. Yeah. Though she did make us she forced us to feed her. You know, friends between people of different castes are possible. You've seen them happen. Regardless, you feel bad for exposing your newest friend to the vaguely nonsensical abuses of your oldest. You turn back to Boldir to apologize and find her gazing coolly at Arta like she could do it all night. There's none of the fear or reverence over false obedience you've seen other lower bloods display to blues. Instead, Boldir looks at Arta like she's a bug. Worse, a pebble that she would just love to kick out of the way. Nice to meet you in person, Miss Carmia. I hear your GrubTube channel has been losing subscribers recently. I wonder why that is. Oh shit, low blow. Blue hits Arta's cheeks in an angry flush. I'm currently on hiatus. The old garbage is getting tired. I have so many imitators that my own content is starting to seem derivative. She gives one of her maniacal laughs, but it's a little less robust than usual. Man, the wild tundra of internet fame really is a stark and arid battleground. In fact, I have a new feature in the works as we speak. She holds up a little vial that she's been haggling with the cashier register over earlier. Poison. I think the best and most expedient process would just be to dose my featured guest's food and then hide the antidote somewhere in my hive. Unless you have another idea. He smiles. Sly and mean. Boldir smiles back just as vicious. Great. Have fun with that. While Boldir talks, her eyes start flickering from you to Arta and then down. Again and again, you, Arta, and down. Takes a couple of go-arounds before you realize what she's telling you. She keeps looking down to your hands, which are stuck in your hoodie pocket, exactly where you found the note Boldir slipped you. Arta's carrying a bag that looks expensive and extremely goth, and you can see where the vial of poison is sticking out. Oh man, you know what you have to do. When a group comes into the shop and pushes past the three of you, you move in on Arta and slip a hand into her bag, palming the smooth, cold vial. She gives you a weird look, like, why are you suddenly all up on me, peon? She doesn't notice the theft. I suppose I'll be going now. And if I were you, I'd be more mindful who I choose to associate myself with in the future. Say bye to her, being the tiniest bit guilty, but she's planning to use this poison to do murder theater in her prison basement, so you don't feel that bad. Take care now. Arta leaves and Boldir takes an inquisitive step closer. Show me. Open your hand to display the spoils, flushed with criminal euphoria. Oh hell no, you grabbed the wrong fucking vial. This one is blue, not red. You grabbed the antidote, not the poison. God, you honestly thought you were moving past these kinds of cock-ups? Oh, damn. Well, at least you have the antidote now. You never know when one of those might come in handy. She sways forward and clutches at her neck. For one few seconds, you think she's doing the impression of someone who might need an antidote. Then she falls to her knees. You dart forward and catch her before she can totally eat it. She's heavier than she looks. Compact muscle and a coat full of an ungodly number of weapons. She has like 4 guns in here. What the hell? Your arms are full, so you can only watch, helpless, as a troll in a hood that covers their face and their horns books it out of the door. You shout that some fucker just stabbed your friend, but nobody here is looking at you. Same way people on Earth might ignore a mother trying to calm a toddler throwing a tantrum, just turning their eyes away from a distasteful public scene. Ow. Damn it. You put a hand up to Boldir's neck to try to staunch the bleeding. There isn't any bleeding. Bewildered, you pull apart the lapis of her coat to see a single drop of olive blood trailing above her collarbone. Discoloration spreads in a dark spill over her neck and radiating down her chest. You both say it at the same time. Poison. You open your hand to look at the tiny blue vial, then back up at Boldir. Her eyes are glassy, her skin going blotchy and ashen. There's no reason to believe that Arta's poison and the poison the assassin used are the same, with the same antidote. It's already strange the power of coincidence that you grabbed the antidote at all. You're probably right, but maybe we should try it anyway? I can't feel my legs. Right. Maybe the mere fact that this is an unlikely happenstance means that it'll be the right antidote. Everything you've done so far has the pull of inevitability to it, especially all your interactions with Boldir. Great. Awesome. They're gonna die. I'm glad you're realizing your inherent significance to this particular microcosm causation. Now, can you please pour that stuff in my mouth so I can swallow it and possibly not die? You'll Boldir tip her head back, put the vial to her lips. The last minute you wonder if it's supposed to be diluted, but Boldir glops the whole thing down and immediately begins to shake. Smoke billows out of her nostrils and open mouth, and holy shit, what's going on? This doesn't seem like any type of antidote to you. No, it worked. But then the smoke clears and Boulder opens her big yellow eyes. How does she feel? Alive. Marginally. She lets you help her to her feet. You immediately pull her into a fierce yet gentle hug. It's well to undergo someone else's near-death experience. I feel like you know her way better than one montage scene's worth. Another new friend. Not so tight. You ease up a little. All the tea sippers are staring at you now. Death apparently isn't interesting, but the possibility of some quadrant adjacent stuff, they are suddenly all about it. Sorry, assholes, just you and your new friend sharing a touching post-near fatal encounter. Nothing to see here. Is this the good ending? I guess we might as well see the other one. You've already got a hell of a rap sheet. Maybe it'd be best not to add any new skills that could lead you into temptation. Fair enough. Would you care to go for a stroll? It's a nice night. It's a windy, unsettled night, and it looks like rain. You suppose that's nice, depending on your definition. You'd absolutely love to take a stroll. That's your whole vibe recently. Strolling. You follow her out through a little back gate and into the street. You leave the cabin behind and are quickly consumed by the drift of the midnight crowd. Or crew, one could say. You brace for the inevitable, pitying, hostile looks you get whenever you go into a public. You should have mentioned that you try to avoid large groups, but strangely, no one even glances at you. It's like Boulder exudes a sneaky aura that encompasses the both of you. As you walk, you ask her if she really believes in fate, like the two of you were always going to meet and nothing could have happened any differently no matter what you did. Boulder gives you a thoughtful sidelong glance. Well, that would imply that none of our choices matter, and that causality is inevitable. That randomness is inevitable, right? Sure. You scampered to keep up with her, both physically and mentally. For someone who asked you to take a stroll, she sure is booking it down the street. But that disregards her choices. Fate dictates that all possibilities are, by their very nature, necessities. Or rather, the choice you made was the only one you ever could make. I doubt the universe is that simple. Doesn't sound simple to you, but you hum and nod sagely because you want Boulder to think you're deep. Instead of asking yourself whether you were meant to meet me and meant to be here, it makes more sense to wonder what the forces are that have conspired to bring you into bring it into being. Well, that would be exhaustion and ineptitude. You don't exactly remember what happened, but you're sure it involved something stupid like falling asleep at the wheel and drifting off into another solar system. It had been a rough 48 hours, you know. A lot of escaping and running and punching and stealing of high-powered vehicles. Yes, of course. I understand. All in a day's work. She stops you at most intersections so she can scrupulously glance around the corner before gesturing you forward. Every so often, she will turn the two of you around to double back. You aren't exactly sure why. Maybe she thinks you're being followed? But who would follow you from cafe? It's called Old Sun. Okay. I do think this is a really good theme. This is really nice. Blacks even? Old secret, okay. Don't worry. I know how to shake off a tail. Cross one of the many thoroughfares and a big black bird swoops at your heads. You yelp and duck, but when you look around, you see that the bird is landing on Boulder's arm and she's stroking its back. You brace yourself for to start talking or some shit like that, because that's what your life is like now. But it just sticks its leg out for Boulder to remove a scrap of paper. It waits patiently for her to read the message and scribble something on the back, before attaching it to the crow and throwing it back into the air. Man, that's some Harry Potter ass shit. One of my informants wants to rendezvous and meet space. Unusual, but it has been an unusual day. Unusual couple of months, honestly. Couple of months? Oof. Yes, of course. You've had it much harder than I have. What was I thinking? Well, you were trying to get into a contest of whose life sucks more, but yeah, it's been rough. You appreciate that, you see that. Well, all the plans to be forced to. Alternia is, well, not ideal. Not the worst, but you still have my sympathies. Is there anything at all you like about it? What, well, Alternia? Well, you're kind of digging this whole night as day thing. You're from a diurnal species, but you've always been a bit of a night owl. Also, not to brag, but you've made some seriously cool friends. Yes, I've been following your exploits. Your friendship acquisition procedures are really quite impressive. Oh, now you're blushing. You ask Wilder how she knows that much about your exploits, because it's only pretty recent that you've had any sort of real social media presence. You suppose she could have a groggle alert like Moloch did, but quick, around here. Wilder leads you into a deserted lot between two buildings. There's nothing here except some broken balls and a pile of old rubber tires. She leaves you behind the tire pile to keep watch, although she's probably just doing it to get you out of the way, which, fair. Then she heads out into the center of the lot, presumably to wait for contact. You sit there twiddling your thumbs, trying to suppress the desire to pull out your phone. That doesn't seem very covert ops. You're just starting to get really angsty, jittering your legs and cracking your knuckles and digging a little hole in the shirt with a stick. Oh, in the dirt with a stick. When you hear something strange beneath the wind, a swish, then a thunk. Wilder jerks and clutches her neck. You writhe up from your rubber pile, sending tires flying. You look wildly up at the surrounding buildings, trying to find out where the projectile came from. You don't see anyone. Not even a lone gunsman. You run for your new friend, not spending a thought for your own safety. The clouds move overhead like someone had put them on fast forward, the wind rattling the trash on the pavements. By the time you reach Boulder, she's begun to twitch in hard spasms. One look at the blotchy stain spreading across her neck, and there's no doubt. You both say it at the same time. Poison. Fall to your knees beside her. Oh god, what are you supposed to do? You don't know anything about poison or first aid or anything else useful? Gosh, why are you such a fucking waste of space? You could have been gaining some life skills instead of loafing around like a complete idiot. You... Stop. Don't. There's time. This stuff acts fast. Bowler takes hard, gasping breaths between each word. Her eyes are going cloudy. She makes a desperate grab for your hands. Listen. For the first time, her voice rises above a whisper. Her grip is surprisingly strong. You tell her to save her strength, but she shakes her head and she's hard. So hard her hat falls off. I'm not important. You let her stop being dramatic. Of course she's important. I'm not being dramatic. Well, maybe a little because I'm dying. Still remember what I said about fate. Fuck fate. You don't want anything to do with it if this is the kind of shit it's gonna pull on you. So many of your friends have died because of you, because of your incredible inability to... The world twists and shudders. Your guts are a record, and that record is skipping. For a moment, you're sure that whoever that poison-shooting bastard is has shot you too. But then your vision clears and you feel the rain on the back of your neck. The world rolling back to you in waves of color and sound. The dark sky splits open on a fault line of lightning. Boulder's hand goes limp in your own. With shaking fingers, you reach out to touch her motionless cheek. Fuck. Fuck! Not again. Why? An uncontrollable wave of despair washes over you as you look down the corpse of this girl you barely knew. Where are all these feelings coming from? There's honestly too many of them. Why are they... Again? Must I do everything myself? So in this ending, our character remembers how many times they've let someone down and died, or potentially talking about Earth, but it seems like someone else now is interfering with the protag. And I think that has to do with the whole you're not allowed to leave Alternia. There's something to something keeping things in Alternia. Because I remember this the volume of Crony. Ships were able to come easily. Going was the problem. But the only context we have is when our protag is on the ship. That's when leaving becomes an issue. So I think the character we met is right. They can see, it's like they can see a thread, and that thread has meaning, significance to this planet. So our actions are going to lead to something, and whatever third entity is doing, it involves us. They need us to do something for them. So they keep rewinding. So every character we've met so far has purpose in this greater plan. And it could be just as simple as, by you befriending the earlier people, you were then able to make your way up the ladder, thus getting us to these later volumes. What's also really interesting is that, so we did start off with red blood-ish. We're getting very red later on, and then we do have a pure violet as well coming up soon. So whether we actually meet the entity, or their avatar, or their followers that have made things happen as they do, I guess we'll see. It's starting to get meta. With only, 5 more volumes to go, it's starting to get meta. Interesting. I am hoping then that because of that fact, these volumes do get a bit longer. Stelsa. Okay, so it turns out stealing a car was easily one of your better impulsive decisions. You've gotten accustomed enough to its weird insides by now that the squishiness doesn't much phase you anymore. It still feels like the warm stomach of some giant creature, but you actually find it kind of comforting. You can just let yourself get enveloped in the seat while the autopilot does its thing. Getting ferried through the streets of Alternia with your feet up on the dash sure beats endlessly pounding the pavement. Sometimes you even throw a Serav stream on your phone if you really want to get a chill vibe going. Aw. You're surprised that you haven't been caught yet, dastardly carjacker that you are. But maybe you're just a better thief than you've always thought. A possible career change looked to when, if, you ever go back to Earth. The downside is that if it's a little difficult for you to further your goal of gathering even more friendship from the inside of a vehicle, so you'd park the skull buggy and expose yourself to the menaces of the outside world once more. Near what looks like some sort of residential neighborhood. It isn't as nice as the blue blood neighborhoods you've seen, but still nice enough for most of the apartment complexes that have imposing locked front gates and security drones. But of course, you can't take a leisurely stroll on an Alternia without something terrible happening. You aren't out here for very long before it starts raining. Damn, and fuck. You did see umbrella Torona had given you since it was as heavy as a goddamn club, and now you're getting super regretting it. Running for shelter is all you can do. So you make a mad dash for one of the building awnings, huddling uncomfortably underneath it. The rain doesn't let up. You'll have to move soon. The security drones are beginning to look like they're planning on taking a few shots at you for loitering. And you make a decision fast. Trying into one of the buildings. There's no way you're getting to any of those buildings without a passcode. But wait, I think you see someone coming your way. Perhaps they'll be your knight in shining armor. So what you're telling me is that my appointment is canceled. Yeah, you're still some distance away, and she's looking right at you. You point at yourself questioningly, thinking she might be telling you, but then you realize she's wearing a Bluetooth headset. Jeremy used to be so on the ball. Remember the time he gave me a full prong beautifying procedure right after the high blood ripped his arms off? But now he can't bounce back from one little thresher in the abnormal sausages. What happened? That boy's losing his touch. Looks like she's coming back from a jog. If the running shorts are anything to go by, if she's at all bothered by the acid glancing off her skin, sending dozens of little firecracker sparks in their wake, she isn't showing it. She seems much more preoccupied by the harried conversations she's having on the phone. Most importantly, she's power walking to the entrance of this building, which must mean she lives here. There's your chance. You shove along under the awning, pressing yourself close to the side of the building bug-like. You sort of wish she didn't encounter you earlier when you were dodging rain like a rad action hero. Now you just sort of look cowardly and pathetic. Especially compared to her. She's striding along like absolutely nothing's going to get in the way of whatever business she's got going on, let alone a few paltry explosions. She's actually so focused on her call that she doesn't notice you until you're standing right next to her. Such an inconceivable. You can fully expect that I'll be taking my business elsewhere from here on. Oh my, what do we have here? She transitions from hanging up the call to talking to you so quickly that it makes your head spin. Take this down. Strange little hornless creature parked in front of my home, very puny and scared looking. Can only be the alien everyone's been talking about. Such an opportunity can't go to waste now, can it? You're confused again. Looking around to see who she might be talking to, but there's nobody else here. Maybe she's dictating notes on her phone? Look at you. We can't have you wandering around outside like this, darling, can we? Aren't you ravishing? Do give me the name of your stylist. So good to meet you. Here's my card. Oh my gosh. This is how I feel like I speak sometimes to Corner and Pivot, where every thought just rolls into a sentence. Where there is no, oh, what's the word? Tangent. It's all one thought, and it's just as incoherent. The name still says yet. Audit terrorizer and training for the Alternian Empire. Nice to meet you. Let's walk and talk. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. She is speed running this conversation. I kind of dig it. This is a woman who knows what she wants and is fucking acting on it. Like, she is following through so hard. As you can tell, I have a type. You didn't realize that borrowed hoodie was that impressive of a look, but okay. She produces a business card with one hand and then puts some numbers into a pen with the other. You take the card. You have to struggle to process what she's saying, respond to her questions, and introduce yourself, all while experiencing the verbal equivalent of getting hit by a truck. How is it possible to talk so fast while taking a breath? You can barely get a word in edgewise. Elsa continues chattering away as she steps inside and waits for you to follow her into the apartment building elevator. You do. So, tell me, do you run any businesses on your planet? If you do, I'd be more than happy to offer my services. They are very efficient and affordable, I can assure you. All your legal and financial documents will be checked over in no time. I'll make sure everything is running at tip-top shape. I'm so happy to have run into you. Ever since Zizi told me she's met you, I've been asking her to introduce me. Zizi. I do not remember who that is currently. It's so very important for a professional to continue growing her network, especially intergalactic. Don't you agree? She's still busying herself with her phone while talking to you, texting on its very tiny keyboard. Now, the name Zizi doesn't ring any bells. You flip through your Rolodex in your brain, trying to remember. Have you really made so many friends that you're beginning to forget their names? You're a little impressed with yourself. Feels like only yesterday that you were crawling around the basement of a murderess and getting stabbed in the skin with a screwdriver. Just a single friend to your name. Good times. I don't like that I don't like that the chess piece accepts this brutality upon themselves. You've come so far since then. It brings a single sentimental tear to your eye. Wait. Stelsa's own name starts to register. You've heard it before. Oh, this is Tizius' mate sprint. She must be talking about Tizius. Oh! Oh my gosh. I can see them keeping pace with each other real easy. It's just one of them looks like just dead. Like, you can tell she's a little tired. You can kind of see the bags in her eyes. But I don't know, this works. Like, they're both just as hardworking. Oh, murder, stabbing, very fascinating stuff, I'm sure. Yes, I'm referring to my darling Tizius, of course. You're at the door to her hive. She unlocks it, letting you both in. Oh, yeah. I can see it. I can also understand they never want to work with each other because they both have a method to their madness. Like, probably to Tizius, this is an unorganized mess. That where do you find anything? Come in. Welcome to Shazia. Make yourself at home. Can I get you anything? Water, grub cake? My rate's cheap. I would love to continue our chat while I'm a little less sweaty. Also, acid wreaks absolute havoc on the skin. You know how it is. Also, just jump into the absolution trap for a minute. Please excuse me. It won't be long. And 2 shakes or a quick basic project explanation pillow. Yeah, she does have the cork board, and she has the little thumbtacks in the wall. Yeah, no, I can see Tizzy is looking around here being like, what the actual fuck is all this? Yeah, no, she reminds me of like kind of like the stereotypical like businesswoman who just does everything. Like, what do you mean? Like, of course I'm doing cardio while I'm filing out these papers. What else am I supposed to be doing? If I'm not doing two things at once, I'm wasting time. I'm gotta say, fellas, I like her already. Might even simp for a bit, if you know what I'm saying, as the kids would say. Like, you see the dumbbells, you see that cardio machine, and you see a book there. You see that little grub hanging in there in the top right. I like that too. Little fire flower. Biggest fan of women. I do love women, especially when they are competent. And not just, ooh, woo, can you help me with this? Oh my god, I need a big, strong man to help me. No. No. Actually, you wouldn't know how it is. Considering that a bucket load of acid falling and you would believe you either very injured or very dead. And she's already gone. You're a little relieved. It's not that Stelsa isn't friendly. She's plenty friendly. She just approaches friendship in a way that makes you feel a little like a line on her to-do list that she's in a hurry to check off. Or, well, she seems like she wants you as some sort of work contact, not a friend, but that's okay. You've worn many hats in the pursuit of friendship. Clown cultist, impromptu shoosh papper, murder accomplice, business associate is one of the more tamer ones on the list. Now that you're no longer have to keep up with her mile-a-minute conversation, take a proper look around her hive. You're not sure what's more perturbing. Sheer amount of pink that's accosting your eyes, or the fact that everything is so painstakingly organized that it makes you a little uncomfortable. It's like you merely standing here is disrupting the careful order of the room. If her room is not a goth wonderland, I'll be disappointed. It'd also be the exact same logic if she's not dressed as an absolute goth, but her room isn't as pink and pastel as it comes, you know she's a fake goth. It's just one of those simple truths in life. I'm gonna tell you a fun story. So, do you know what Cinnamoroll is? Hello Kitty. Apparently, people call it the capitalist dog or whatever. So, Corner likes sending memes of like Cinnamoroll, with sometimes suppressing lines or just saying things that like, you know, I can just scroll up. Gonna have to scroll a bit in the DMs, but give me a second. No, I can go to show and tell. Actually, give me a second. You're going to give me a second. There was a lot of Chocobo posting. Oh yeah, no, there's like a furred or an otter. I don't remember what it was. I'm not double checking. Oh, an opossum. Wait, no. I think I'm not actually in the right channel. Give me a second. I swear this is worth it. Oh yeah, there's one. It has Cinnamoroll with like the sparkly eyes, and then it has the arm and gun and says "shut it." Another one where Cinnamoroll is winking at you, and the text is "say that again, motherfucker." Another one is Coroner. We were playing some Warhammer tabletop game. It was me, Pivot Corner, my brother. She decided to play someone in the Star Militarum or whatever. I forget the name of it. She's playing a heavy gunner. Her character is essentially cinema roll. And she would say things like, heretic, exterminatus, way the heretic. Get him so his skin may not be an affront to the Holy Emperor. Things like that. Heretic, exterminatus. And then she to go even further with this character, she found the Militarum book of different prayers to say for different situations, I believe, or different mottos, speeches. And she would look through the book throughout the session for, an appropriate situation and say that. So we got here in a cinema roll voice, like these different prayers to the Emperor. Her shelves are crammed full of books, all neatly arranged according to topic, with each topic displayed on a little label on each shelf. She also has a lot of posters featuring motivational slogans underneath striking nature photography. The only normal-looking spot in the Hive is a coffee table with a mishmash of personal belongings piled on top of it. Books, papers, a jacket. You think that might be a mug? Oh, that's Theseus's mug. None of these items strike you as being particularly Stella's style. The overall effect is that of a very pink, very neat office cubicle. You almost feel like you should start chugging mediocre coffee and complaining about how much you hate Mondays. That's probably where Theseus does her work when she comes in here. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's her jacket. So sorry to keep you waiting. Oh. Hello, ma'am. How are you? Oh, gosh. Stella reemerges, her hair wrapped in a towel. Well, it's been a blast getting to know you. We should get to lunch sometime together. Keep the conversation going. I'll pen you in, darling. But for now, I have a bit of a dilemma to deal with. That sounds worryingly like a dismissal. You take a glance at the schedule on our bulletin board. It's a blaze of colors with barely any free slots. You don't want to be penciled in. You have no idea when she might be available next, and you need her sweet, sweet friendship now. Maybe whatever problems she has is something you can help with? Unless you're a ludicrously talented beautician, I think not. My usual place bumped me off their list, and right before a very important meeting, too. A girl has to look her best for these things to really knock their socks off. If I want to make arrangements at another salon, I have to move fast. No time to waste. Well, this volume seems to be picking up skills. I don't want to mess up her style. That'd be absolutely fucked. Who needs a beautician when you're around? You have absolutely no professional beauty experience, but Ciro did give you that crash course in crafting great looks. Stella says probably after a vibe that's a little less moisture wave, but sure you can whip something up. You tell her that you'll help her get ready instead, right here in her hive. Oh, how nice of you. I've never had a house call before. Let's do this. She leads you into the next room, rubbing her hair dry as she goes. There's a Rikku in one corner and a Vandy in the other, where an array of poofs, brushes, and other mysterious implements spread out on its surface. Some of them are disturbingly pointy. Oh well, you're surely able to figure out how they all work for once you start using them. Oh, hello, ma'am. She also takes a seat in the chair in front of the vanity, holding her hands primly in her lap. So, darling, what do you think we should do first? It's all up to you. Not this again. Why are you always making all the decisions around here? What you wouldn't give to be able to foist your own life choices off on a random person you just met. It would be refreshing. I think horns matter more in society, so let's polish the horns. Pick up a velvety piece of cloth, bring it up to Stella's head. There's only one thing this can be for, right? Whoa, what are you gonna do with that? Pulse your horns being a priest of sheen, of course. They'll be positively gleamed by the time you're done with them. She grabs your wrist with one hand before you can do so. She's deceptively strong, my guy. Every troll, I think, besides maybe Red, but even then, has like absurdly higher strength than you and durability. You've been low-key admiring her toned arms earlier, but now you know for sure that the rack of hot pink dumbbells in the living room aren't just for show. Why would they? Instead of looking pleased with your proposal, she looks uneasy, possibly even a little embarrassed. Polish my, okay, so this is a no-no. Got it. Really good glimpse of her discomforted expression before she's glancing at you with another friendly smile, albeit a bit of a strained one. You know, I think I'm having second thoughts. It's reasonable to expect that an alien like you wouldn't know the first thing about troll grooming habits. My mistake, I should have accounted for such cultural differences, but it's quite alright, I shall figure something else out. Is it just you, or was there a pointed pause before cultural differences? She's getting up again. Wait, what's happening? You thought two of you were going to bond over a sweet makeover session, but she's pushing you into the main area of her hive. Pretty forcefully, too. Thank you for offering your help, dear. So very kind of you, but I'll manage. Great to meet you. Just wonderful. Give me a call. Take care. Have a nice life. Toodles. Goodbye. She shoots you another lovely yet very clearly fake smile and shoves you out the door. You'll be able to wait out the rain just fine in this hallway. But bringing sprawling your ass on the cell says welcome mat all by your lonesome just isn't the same as hanging out with a new friend. Alright. Okay. That was a misstep. Style hair. First order of business should be drying Stelz's hair. You pick up a funnel-shaped doohickey that looks like it might be a hairdryer. Pulling around for a button, there is one. But you manage to turn it on by giving it a good squeeze. The mouth of the funnel opens up wide, emitting a hot blast of air along with a horse head wheel. You think you might actually see teeth inside. Just don't think about it too much. That's the best you can do when it comes to literally any Alternian gadget. Thankfully, the noise soon fades to a low hum. Here, use this. It also passes you a piece of thorny bramble. It looks painful, but when you begin brushing Stelz's hair, she sighs happily. Interested being in this position for once. When Tizzie's over, usually I'm the one doing this. Try to imagine Tizzie's letting someone give her a sweet do. A sweet do. Even when it's her girlfriend in question, you have a hard time picturing it. Stelz's laugh, she has a surprisingly pretty, musical laugh. No. My dear Zizi isn't one for involved beauty rituals. She usually doesn't let me do more than just brush it, but it's still relaxing. Letting the brush through Stelz's hair is pretty relaxing. You allow yourself to zen out for a moment before shaking yourself out of it, casting around for something to talk about. That's what good hairdressers do, right? Strike up casual conversation. Your eyes fall on the open book sitting on the table. It's the only object there that doesn't have anything to do with hair care or beauty, so it stands out like a sore thumb. Just like the items of the coffee table, it's thrown too haphazardly to look like it belongs to Stelza. You think you see some of the tabs Theseus was using on the notes for a group project. And if you look even closer, you think you catch the words revolt and history in the page header. Right, it's Theseus' mates for Stelza probably has big plans for dismantling the system from the inside too. After it becomes an auditor, you remark that you think it's really cool what she and Theseus are doing. It might be scary to stick it to the man like that, but someone has to do it. Okay, it's not exactly like conversation, but talking to Theseus about this and talking about this had been so enlightening, if sad, and you'd really bonded over it. Maybe you'll be able to bond with Stelza the same way. Oh, she doesn't know it's Theseus' whole agenda. But it's also one that looks confused, then her eyes flick down to the book just for a second. Before she reaches out, smartly snaps it shut, and squirrels it away in one of the drawers. None of the drawer slams makes you jump, and you narrowly avoid pulling Stelza's hair. I am quite sure I don't know what you're talking about. I am not sticking anything anywhere. Definitely not to any man. And neither is Theseus. She sinks straight intense in her chair. Now, her voice soaring to a high, broadening on hysterical pitch. Oh no, she probably doesn't know you're on their side. Theseus might not have told her about your conversation. It's okay. You're not going to tell anyone. You're sworn to secrecy, but Stelza averts her eyes, a stubborn set to her chin. Again, I have no idea what you're talking about. Not a single clue. Theseus and myself are both law-abiding subjects of the Empire. We don't dabble in such foolish things as sympathizing with rebels. What would that possibly accomplish? She wrings her hands discreetly. We do things the way we do on Alternia for a reason, darling. About the hemispectrum and the roles we each need to play, why the world we plunge in complete chaos. Can you even imagine? Trolls running around not knowing which way is up, doing whatever they please, no one to tell them what their place in the world is. It goes from hand-wringing to just gesticulating wildly, almost knocking a row of jars off the table, positively frantic at the prospect of societal breakdown. It's better for everyone this way. I truly believe that. You're beginning to realize that you might have put your foot in your mouth just a little bit. Stuff to toe into in that gob of yours, maybe. She sounds way too earnest for this to be a cover-up. Could it be possible that Stelsa really does side with what Tizzy just called her, the Condescence? And that she doesn't know about Tizzy's underground research after all? But the book was right there. You're so confused. Talking about this is clearly distressing Stella, though, so you drop it, focusing on finishing up her hair instead. Pretty soft now that it's dry. You're not sure you've styled it correctly, but she seems pleased. Great work. Nice, fantastic. You did an excellent job. You glowed with praise. You'd say thanks, but she's already passing you a bottle of nail polish. She really wants you all the way, huh? You twist it open and get to work. You're too focused on not sponging the teal color over the stately points of her claws to talk, but this also breaks the silence. I have a question for you. You nod, sticking your tongue out on the concentration. So I have this acquaintance. This is the most tentative you've heard her so far. You weren't sure her vocal cords were capable of it. They're in a quadroom of someone who harbors views most would consider subversive, if not outright treasonous. Oh, word games. I love them. You know, I think we all have friends who harbor some ideas that some would consider most not righteous. She's obviously talking about herself in Theseus, but you don't want to point that out in case she gets upset again. So you're just nod along thoughtfully. She didn't always. The mate spread, I mean. It will blow over at some point. She must be just going through a difficult phase. But in the meantime, she get into so much trouble. Stelsa's lower lip wobbles like she's about to cry. You chew on the inside of your cheek, trying to figure out what to say. Me when I'm Gabriel Ultra Kill the GoPro won't stop drinking blood. More blood for the machine. Dying to tease this very much did not leave you with the impression that it was a phase. You sound pretty serious. Does Stelsa's friend have any idea what that this is going on? She looks at the drawer. So do you. Nope. Oh, fuck you. Okay, come on. If you give him the hypothetical, pretty like hypothetical. I mean, this friend might know something. Here's a surge to massage your temples. No idea at all? Absolutely not. All right, okay, you can do this. A good first step might be for her to face up to the issue. You know, if there's a chance they have the tiniest inkling about what might be happening, so the two of them can talk about it. Talk about it. Yeah, you're no expert, but open discussion probably helps with relationship problems quite a bit. Plus, you ruminate to yourself. The more you think about it, the less it seems that Theseus leaving her controversial book out like that was an accident. It was right in front of Stelsa's chair, after all. Maybe Theseus wanted Stelsa to see it. You'd slicked the last bit of color into Stelsa's pink claw a while ago. We were both too wrapped up in the conversation to suggest that you move on to something else. She lets the polish dry while the two of you continue to talk. But our friend does not agree with her mate's sentiments. Come on. Discussing it would just cause unnecessary friction, wouldn't it? Maybe, but even so, addressing the issue is probably better than pretending it doesn't exist there. Besides, watermates can coexist regardless of differing beliefs, right? Yeah, you don't sound convincing even to yourself, but the platitude seems to comfort Stelsa somewhat. Maybe you're right. Carefully, mindful of her just dried nails, she wipes away a few tears, much to your horror. Was that the wrong thing to say? Then you notice that she's smiling. I have not spoken about that to anyone before now. Telling you about it truly was a load off my blow sack cavity. I am certain my friend will be grateful as well, as I shall relay your advice accordingly as soon as I can. You smile back at her weakly. You haven't been able to relate to very much when it comes to turning your life, but oh boy, can you relate to relationship drama. And girls seem to have plenty of it. He hopes that everything turns out right for a friend. Since her voice is all sniffly and her lash is still wet, you retrieve a frilly box of hand tissues and hold it out to her, hoping that will help. She pulls out a few and blows her nose on them with a sad honking noise. I should finish getting ready. She seems reluctant to get up though. You'd probably be the same knowing you had to head into a serious business meeting after spilling your heart out like that. Experiencing motions is tiring. Eventually though, Stelsa musters up enough energy to get to her feet. Much to your surprise, instead of immediately rushing off to complete her next pre-meeting task, she pulls you into a tight hug. Thank you. You're a real friend. There it is. Not colleague, not potential client, but that wonderful friendship word. Aw. You managed to squeeze into a packed schedule. You tread the path of fate. You enjoyed some memes, some memes, some dank memes, my guys. Check something off a bucket list. You got kidnapped. Let's shook it off. You unplugged from the grid. You appreciated some Eastern Alternian fine animated arts. Sugoi desu. You stand hatched to dance. You heard the good word from the big man himself. I do hope we meet the big clown guy and it's like, you, alien, fuck yourself. No, I didn't say leave. Get your ass back here. I'm not done with you. Honk. You won on a technicality. You drowned your sorrow. Listen to a very one-sided rap battle. Wait, what? Oh, she had two good endings. Huh? Wait, no, that almost feels wrong. No, she did have two good endings. Because that was the lawyer girl. That was Theseus. And then Tixie had two. Huh. Okay. All right, so what are we looking at next? It's volume 14. Tomorrow will be volume 14, and then Friday will be volume 15, and then we should be done on Wednesday then of next week instead of the 17th as pre-planned. Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a good time listening. I enjoyed this chapter, another fun one. I do like me a woman who is competent. A real go-getter, if you would. And I do like the assassin girl. That I don't know. Cute aesthetic. And then just bloodthirst. Fan of the opposite. I do love the women. Next tomorrow is my favorite volume, volume 14. I was right then. Nice. Really understand the dude on the left. Guy on the right, he fills me with a bit of terror because he's more on that purple scale. Yeah, I'm fond of women, some would say. Though, as you know, someone with a femboy aesthetic is not allowed to say. Some would say it's heretical, but that's dumb. All right. So yeah, tomorrow, volume 14, apparently, it is Demons vs. Spirits, so I will be looking forward to that. Because this man on the right terrifies me to a certain extent. I do not trust that face at all. All right, everyone. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.